this year, 2023, we received an award by the hands of President. So I think I started this initiative SciKnowTech, which is science, knowledge, using technology together. But experiential is something which is like we call it to be Anubhav se Avishkar ki Yatra. Parents, being working parents, especially mothers, we have that guilty feeling of not giving children. So we overdo. NEP endorsed it, that is National Education Policy also now 2020 mentions that experiential learning, Anubhav se Avishkar tak le jana, is something very important for all the age groups, including college and universities.
तो आज हम जिनसे मिलने वाले हैं उन्होंने एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग के ऊपर महारत हासिल की है। मिलते हैं डॉक्टर मेघा भट्ट से। मेघा जी, वेलकम टू आवर पॉडकास्ट बिजरप्टर्स पे। यूजुअली ये बड़ा माना जाता है कि हम बिजनेस के बारे में बात करते हैं, लेकिन मुझे जो इंटरेस्ट जागा वो इस पॉडकास्ट में था कि आपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम को डिसरप्ट करने का प्लान किया। तो ठीक है जी। सो माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू इज, डॉक्टर मेघा भट्ट, could you share with us your journey from an environmental scientist with ISRO
Yes.
to founding SciKnowTech, and what was the inspiration behind this transition?
It's a very interesting question, actually. My journey started as an educator when I was just 15 years old. I started teaching young students who were younger to me. And since then, I have been teaching. So it has been a long journey of teaching, I would say. Now, from being an educationist to edupreneur, I think it's a very interesting journey, and how it started, I would love to share on this platform. So, my dear friends, I would say that after becoming a women scientist in 2010, I was doing a research and very much teaching in climate change and impacts management department of Gujarat University as a teacher. And while teaching, somehow at home front, my son and few of his friends, started coming to me for just learning something. And one of the child, one day he asked me a question that, Auntie, do you know that if we try lighting up a tea bag, it would fly? I said, really? Let's try doing it. And we did it. And then I asked him a question that, if at all this is the case, do you know the reason behind flying of this tea bag? And then he said, that I don't know. And I really thought that who would be better to answer, all these questions, because maybe the surfing channels would give them an answer of how to do, but why is it happening? It's something most important. And then that was the seed which was being sown for SciKnowTech. So I think I started this initiative SciKnowTech, which is science, knowledge, using technology together. And I think that's how children will remember it as SciKnowTech.
Yes, why not? Chaliye, let's move to the next question that I have. Can you elaborate on the concept of experiential STEAM learning and how it differs from traditional learning methods?
Perfect. So I think I would answer this question by showing you a few things.
Ji.
So basically, I tried designing a curriculum in which, grade wise, their curriculum wise, children are learning everything with an experience. So with using multiple languages learning, which we may, try seeing in the interview, but still STEAM is something which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but A added to that is arts. So basically people confuse it with experimental learning, but experiential is something which is like we call it to be Anubhav se Avishkar ki Yatra. So
tagline है वही है।
हाँ, so आप ऐसे कहो कि experience दे के, like, they lead towards, how they lead towards innovation is something very, very important. So I think adding of A makes it something which is very important. And say, let me try giving you an example, that suppose a fourth grader can learn about my teeth by looking at their own teeth naturally, by looking at the models, by taking it up in the hands. But learning all 4 different types of teeth and how that particular tooth is being formed for a particular function and how that is being adapted like that. They will be carving, each tooth on their own and making up this clay model.
Beautiful.
Maybe that will, engrave the learning, will go to a different level, that will engrave that yes, canines are for tearing and molars are for churning. So it's like, one more example I would like to give, that is, suppose grade wise learning says that we say that they learn fiber to fabric in grade 6, 7 and 8 with different materials. So basically what we try doing is that we try taking them outside for a field trip in the industry where they would be able to see the huge machines, warp, weft, what is it, how weaving is being done, how different designs are created for checkered structure or stripes or whatever. But learning is definitely incomplete without them doing it. And that's the reason we try, giving them a small loom in the classroom where they would come up with small, maybe bookmark in 2 hours, or some children may be good enough to, carve a nice piece of cloth, we should say. So using different material, they only choose the material like cotton, thread or a wool or anything, but they try doing it. So basically grade wise theory is something which is like, and of course it includes lots of experiments starting from smaller grades, but experiments is not only science. Experience is something which is so important, and art should be an integral part of the same till higher grade.
अच्छा ठीक है मैम, ये दो चीजें जो आपके पास पड़ी हैं ये क्या है? दिस एंड दिस फोर्स वाला, ये जो है एक मॉडल है कुछ क्ले का, और ये जो है
So basically, as we rightly said, hands-on activities and art being part of STEM education. Basically, in 7th standard, they have circulatory system.
अच्छा
So they not only make up a big model where how blood flow works, but those who are interested in art, possibly, they would color it in such a way that this is a beautiful model made out of plaster of Paris. Yes.
So nice, very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. मेघा जी, ये सारी चीजें दिखा के आपने मुझे, you have taken me back to become a student once again and start my education journey once more, becoming a small kid, because ये इतना इंटरेस्टिंग है. आई एम श्योर बच्चे ये रोज अपने घर जाके क्या कुछ नया नया करते होंगे.
Absolutely.
हाँ, और जो आप वहाँ पे सिखाती हैं, आई थिंक दे विल वुड बी कमिंग टू नो अबाउट द प्रिंसिपल बिहाइंड दैट. इस साइंस के पीछे का प्रिंसिपल क्या है. वार्प वेफ्ट शायद मैंने 25 साल की उम्र में सीखा था और ये बच्चे 4th और 5th स्टैंडर्ड में सीख रहे हैं.
That's right.
तो बहुत बढ़िया है.
And I think being environmentalist, I would like to add that also, that in 2 hours time, when they weave such a small piece, they understand the value of that garment. So basically, when you talk about sustainability, you can cultivate the habit of preserving like that. So, a child, today's parents, being working parents, especially mothers, we have that guilty feeling of not giving children. So we overdo, correct? And I think every woman would relate it with me, that we try overdoing things in such a way that we try giving them what they want. And that's the reason that when they discard a cloth just by using one time, here they would understand how difficult it has or how much time it has been taken to weave that thing.
True. Acha, very interesting, your tagline.
Yes.
It talks about exposure leads to exploration and exploration to innovation. It's very powerful. When I start thinking about it, it makes me, understand that yeah, itna power है इस tagline में. How do you see this philosophy shaping a child's learning experience, man?
I think I would again like to start with the same thing, that say when I say multiple languages learning, that means you try introducing the same topic probably in different languages of learning. Like you first introduce it in the classroom with a chalk and board method, plus you try using a lot of audiovisual where they are looking at different beautiful authentic videos related to the same topic. Then probably you can make them meet up with an expert where they would understand that expert is a person who would take our understanding to a different level for a particular topic. Then probably field visits where the classroom would be 360 degrees, much more than any classroom could do. So I think when you do such things, and of course hands-on activities for the same, where learning by doing is something which is like आप खुद करो, मैं सीखूंगा, आप बोलो मैं सुन रहा हूँ, और आप दिखाओ मैं देख रहा हूँ, बट आप मुझे इन्वॉल्व करो मैं समझ रहा हूँ। तो वो जो बात है पूरी,
ब्यूटीफुल।
तो ऐसा कहते हैं कि जब वो खुद करते हैं तब वो इतना समझेंगे, इतना डेप्थ में समझेंगे कि वो बच्चा कभी भूलने वाला नहीं है। तो वो रॉट लर्निंग तो साइड पे चला जाता है और वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग इतना ब्यूटीफुली लैंग्वेज में कन्वर्ट हो सकता है जो पेपर पे दिखता है। एंड ये चीज करने की मतलब एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट लेने की जरूरत नहीं होती है मार्क्स लेने के लिए। बस ये चीज अगर पेरेंट्स को समझा पाए तो बहुत अच्छा है। एंड छोटे बच्चों के लिए आई थिंक स्टोरी टेलिंग इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी इम्पैक्टफुल. So what we have tried doing is that, trust me, we call fantastic storytellers from the city. Whenever, suppose if I finish doing digestive system, then a storyteller would come to a classroom, not only with the activities, with the puppets and everything, but a digestive system would be told in terms of a story. Say, Deepu एक यात्रा कर रहा है एंड वो अच्छे से कोई इसको निगल गया एंड वो कहाँ पहुंचा, ओ बाप रे वो तो माउथ में पहुंच गया, तो वहां पे एकदम गीला गीला लग रहा है, सलाइवा निकल रहा है एंड अभी एकदम से उसने खाना के साथ मिलके नीचे उतरना शुरू किया एंड पाइप में पहुंच गया, तो वो क्या था, वो इसोफेगस था. तो छोटे बच्चे इस तरह से अगर पढ़ाया जाए तो प्रोबेबली बहुत अच्छे से याद रख सकते हैं. And I feel that this multiple languages learnings is something very important. And when you said exposure leads to exploration, that means अगर बच्चे को expose करें तो वो डेफिनेटली अपने आप उसको अच्छा लगेगा तो वो एक्सप्लोर करने की कोशिश करेगा. अगर वो खुद ही एक्सप्लोर करेगा तो ही वो इनोवेट करेगा. और इसका बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल आई वुड से दैट आवर ईयर लॉन्ग प्रोग्राम culminates with what we call it to be Sciknow Fest, which is like where every child comes up with a project to showcase in front of more than 2000 people.
Wow.
And when they try speaking it in front of 2000 people, probably their confidence also will go to a different level, and understanding and culmination of the whole idea is something fantastic. So I think I definitely believe in what our tagline is, that exposure leads to exploration and exploration only to innovation.
चलिए ठीक है, हमें ये बताइए जो आपका ईयर एंड पे जो साइटेक प्रोग्राम होता है,
Sciknow
फेस्ट जिसको आप साइनो फेस्ट कहते हैं, वो एक कार्निवल जैसा होता है.
हाँ.
तो उसकी थोड़ी झलक दीजिए ना हमें.
उसमें 4 टाइप के प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं, जिसमें लाइव एक्सपेरिमेंट्स, फिर कॉन्सेप्चुअल मॉडल्स जिसे बच्चा मतलब सबको एक्सप्लेन कर सके. जैसे कि इसमें इंटरेस्टिंग बता सकते हैं कि एक बच्चा थर्मोकॉल में से प्लांट सेल या एनिमल सेल बनाया है और उसके बाजू में ही कोई बच्चा एडिबल प्लांट सेल और एनिमल सेल बनाया है जो जेली से बनता है, या फिर पिज्जा पे एनिमल सेल बनाया, तो पूरा मॉडल ही एडिबल है. लास्ट ईयर एक बच्चे ने पूरा सोलर सिस्टम एडिबल बनाया था.
अच्छा.
तो मतलब 2 बच्चे साथ साथ में खड़े थे, एक ने वर्किंग मॉडल ऑफ सोलर सिस्टम बनाया था जो सारे प्लैनेट्स घूम रहे थे, और बाजू में एक बच्चे ने मस्त एकदम बड़े पिज्जा पे थाली पे सोलर सिस्टम बनाया था. तो इट वाज लुकिंग सो ब्यूटीफुल. सो आई थिंक when they are trying to showcase what they have learned in a different way, say plant cell बना रहे हैं या animal cell बना रहे हैं, तो न्यूक्लियस में DNA होता है जो नूडल्स से बना सकते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि they are twisted, the DNA is twisted and noodles could be put up that way. So that understanding itself shows that how much child has learned a particular thing, like he or she doesn't need to mug it up. So SciKnowFest is something which is the you can say pinnacle of learning, I think. And when people say matlab jab wo there were a lot of people, eminent people from the press and everywhere, and they said that our Vignan Melo varsho pachi joyo. Like before 30-40 years probably in the schools they used to see such fairs, but SciKnowFest is something actual, it's a carnival for children, I guess.
तो ये तो आप प्रोग्राम अपने बच्चों को भी दिखाइएगा और उन शाम जाते समय आप उनको हाय भी कह दीजिएगा. So they'll feel they want to see their teacher.
Absolutely.
Talking to them directly and
Absolutely.
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है. अच्छा, क्या रिजल्ट्स आपने ऑब्जर्व किए हैं चिल्ड्रन में जब वो इस तरह की लर्निंग के थ्रू पास होते हैं, तो व्हाट चेंजेस डू दे यू सी इन देम, या क्या रिजल्ट्स में उनके इफेक्ट आता है?
Okay, I think I would like to quote 3 examples for this. That जब भी बच्चों को हम देखते हैं कि उनके आंखों में जो ट्विंकल दिखता है या स्माइलिंग फेसेस दिखते हैं, तो वो चीज मतलब वो एक टीचर के लिए बहुत सेटिस्फाइंग होता है। बट एट द सेम टाइम वो लर्निंग कहाँ दिखा, तो आई वुड से दैट देर आर, from my perspective, from audience's perspective, I think for parents it's only marks, which is a medium of success in your case, and probably it's a medium of success in their case, but probably in my case it is different. I would give you three examples for the same. One is when I try cultivating research in them, I teach them what is research and how you start with scratch, keeping control constant, everything in terms of actual research what you do. So one child, suppose she wanted to check that, okay, my father is diabetic and I want to make muffins which my father can eat with ease, okay, without thinking anything. So just as a control, she tried making muffin with sugar, all right, which obviously will be fluffy enough, which anybody could eat, but she wanted to develop an alternative. So three more examples I would give, that she tried making muffin out of honey, she tried using jaggery in the second one, and in the third one she tried using extract of dates. तो ये तीनों में अपने अपने पे शुगर है, तो जैगरी वाला जो मफिन था वो तो बैठ गया, तो नेचुरली दैट्स नॉट अ वायबल ऑप्शन, सो गॉन. हनी was, if the sugar was estimated, almost the same amount of sugar was there, but so obviously that was also gone. But the option with the dates, the muffin also fluffed up as much as sugar and it tasted also almost the same. So I think that was the best option for her father. So I think when you talk about research, when the child learns actual research and when you try making them do that and present it in front of people, it endorses that, okay, what you're doing is absolutely correct. That is one thing. Then the second achievement, I would say that in a child, suppose हमें कैसे पढ़ाया गया लाइट कि रे डायग्राम्स हमें दे दिए जाते थे और हम लोग उसको रट्टा मार के प्रेजेंट कर देते थे 10th स्टैंडर्ड के पेपर में भी. मैं भी ऐसे ही पढ़ी हूँ. पर अगर हम देखें कि एक दिन वी वर मेकिंग टेलीस्कोप, टॉय टेलीस्कोप, एंड एक बच्चा मेरे पास 4 साल से आ रहा था एंड एक बच्चा नया था उस साल के लिए. सो ही एक्चुअली आस्क्ड मी अ क्वेश्चन दैट मैम टेल मी समथिंग दैट व्हाई दिस जो पिजन दिख रहा है उल्टा क्यों दिख रहा है. ओके, तो बिफोर आई कुड आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन, द अदर चाइल्ड हु वाज कमिंग टू मी सिंस फ्यू इयर्स, ही आंसर्ड दैट अरे we used only 2 lenses in the toy telescope and our eye is also a third lens, so ulta seedha ulta, you put one more lens in the telescope and it will become seedha. So I think the learning is at a different level where the child has already understood that what is actually happening by keeping a lens, and that's how you learn light, correct? That is one example. Another example I would say is that my children, trust me, they become so confident that I have a child who was so timid and so shy, just like me, how I was in school. And now I see my reflection in her after, this is the 5th year with me. And wherever you give the platform, they are all part of SciKnowTech VIPNet Club, which is Vigyan Prasar affiliated club, which we run free on every Sunday. And those children do scripting, anchoring, everything in their own way. So as you asked me a question that what changes do you see in children? True. I, from that aspect also, I think not only science or math is a learning, but communication, confidence, team building. There are so many team dynamics. There are so many things what they are learning with us. So I think it's a complete satisfactory thing for me.
वाह, नहीं, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड योर. अच्छा, ये बताइए कि आई एम श्योर कि जब ये आपने स्टार्ट किया या जब आपने सोचा था इसके बारे में, तो पेरेंट्स के भी कुछ मिसकंसेप्शंस होंगे, कुछ उनके दिमाग में और भी कुछ क्वेश्चंस होंगे, या फिर हम एजुकेशन सिस्टम की बात करें, स्कूल्स की बात करें, तो इस सबको आपने कैसे ओवरकम किया? फर्स्ट इज पेरेंट्स, देन द स्कूल, देन द एजुकेशन सिस्टम. सो एवरी एस्पेक्ट हैज टू बी टच्ड.
एब्सोल्युटली. सो आई वुड से दैट ग्रेड्स की अगर बात करें तो पहले पेरेंट्स की बात करते हैं कि उनको सबसे पहला तो ये लगेगा कि ये सिस्टम फॉलो करके ये कुछ अलग है. मतलब हर बार, मतलब हर एक बच्चे के लिए, मतलब एज वाइज क्वेश्चंस पेरेंट्स के अलग होते हैं. तो ऐसे ले लेते हैं कि बड़े बच्चे होंगे तो सबसे पहला ये पूछेंगे कि सब पूछेंगे मार्क्स आएंगे, दैट इज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. grades, will they get the grades? That is the first question. Then second one would be paper लिखवाएंगे, so practice होगा, homework देंगे. तो it's like मैं खुद believe नहीं करती कि 5th standard तक, मतलब बच्चा जब तक 10 साल का है वो बच्चा है एंड हमें उसको बच्चे की तरह ट्रीट करना चाहिए. वो एंजॉयमेंट के साथ अगर लर्निंग ऑलरेडी कर रहा है, क्लासरूम में क्रॉसवर्ड या वर्ड सर्च फॉर वोकैबुलरी बिल्डिंग सब कुछ हो रहा है, तब वो बच्चा होमवर्क डिजर्व करता है कि नहीं. दैट इज अ वेरी फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू पेरेंट्स फ्रॉम माय साइड, राइट. एंड after 6th grade, obviously they have lot of curriculum to be faced depending upon the board they are in. So the practice needs to be given. That I agree. But बच्चा जो भी कर रहा है ऑलरेडी लर्न कर रहा है, एक बार लिख रहा है, 5 बार लिख रहा है, बट लोग सिर्फ वही कराते हैं. मैंने सुना है कि आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट एनीबडी स्पेसिफिक, बट मैंने सुना है दैट ऐसे टिपिकल कॉन्सेप्चुअल लर्निंग या ट्यूशन क्लासेस जिसको कहते हैं हम लोग, उसमें बच्चे को मार्क्स पे डिपेंड करता है कि 10 बार 20 बार एक ही चीज लिखवाते हैं पेपर के स्वरूप में. तो क्या वो 20 बार लिख के गधा भी नहीं बोल पाएगा? मतलब वो भी बोलने लगेगा हौची हौची, है ना. तो शायद ऐसा करना कहाँ तक ठीक रहेगा बच्चे के साथ. सो आई थिंक ये मेजर चैलेंज था पेरेंट्स के तरफ से, हमारी तरफ से. बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अभी वो चैलेंज नहीं रहा, क्योंकि हमारे 3 बैचेस 10th स्टैंडर्ड के निकल गए हैं एंड बहुत ही फ्लाइंग कलर से निकले हैं. नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स दो दे वर लेस इन 10th स्टैंडर्ड, बिकॉज यहाँ तक पेरेंट्स को कन्विंस करना, अब बहुत बच्चे हैं, बट पहले ऐसा था कि पेरेंट्स को ये चीज कन्विंस करना कि ये मेथोडोलॉजी बहुत ही इफेक्टिव है एंड डेफिनेटली बहुत आगे लेके जाएगी. आज के दिन के लिए जो भी चाहिए, प्रैक्टिकल स्किल्स चाहिए, पैरेलल थिंकिंग चाहिए जिसको लैटरल थिंकिंग बोलते हैं, ये सब कुछ इतना इम्पॉर्टेंट है. रिसर्च बेस्ड एप्टीट्यूड होना कितना इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, क्रिएटिविटी, विच इज नीड ऑफ एन आवर. तो आई थिंक वो चैलेंज था, बट अब नहीं है विथ रिजल्ट्स ऑफ 3 बैचेस. देन सेकेंड, NEP endorsed it, that is National Education Policy also now 2020 mentions that experiential learning, अनुभव से आविष्कार तक ले जाना, is something very important for all the age groups including college and universities. So I think we started it long back in 2016 and endorsed in 2020 by NEP also. That problem has been solved. Now coming to the schools, so my answer would be that initially it was a problem working with schools
because आपका मेथड जो है वो ये अनकन्वेंशनल है.
Absolutely.
तो आई एम श्योर कि काफी रेजिस्टेंस
सबसे आप रेजिस्टेंस की बात करो तो टीचर्स
जी,
मतलब इंस्टेड ऑफ थिंकिंग दैट वी आर एक्चुअली कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग देम, दे वुड थिंक दैट वी आर कॉम्पिटिटर्स, विच इज नॉट द केस. Actually, we both are working towards the child's overall holistic development. So I think if they look at it from that perspective, that we are not competing but complementing, then I think it's a win-win situation we can create with schools and teachers. And that was a challenge, but probably now things are improving with after COVID. I think it was a blessing, and with hybrid module and everything being introduced, technology being introduced, I think that challenge is little bit overcome, because teachers are also able to see all this if they are mothers themselves, that how effective this method could be. Sitting at home, they could see for their own children. So I think things are helping that way now and getting much better.
So education system.
Yes.
क्योंकि you are also challenging the system. जो existing system है, education by rote, उसको आप कैसे करते हैं?
So basically I would say that एजुकेशन सिस्टम को जो रोट लर्निंग है वो उसको यहाँ से पूरा सिस्टम में से निकालना बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट है. पर अगर बच्चा बचपन से ऐसे पढ़ रहा है, નાનપણથી જ જો છોકરું આટલું સુંદર રીતે ભણતું હોય, તો I think I would like to give you one very good example. Suppose I have mapped the curriculum in a way where a concept gets graduated, say light. Okay, so if I talk about light, then in a smaller grades they are learning about what is light, light and shadow, how the shadow gets formed in third and fourth, and then a mirror gets introduced in fifth standard. So probably we do a lot of activities related to light and shadows outside the classroom, maybe with aluminium foil in the classroom, making shadows, making materials with hands-on activities. Then probably with introduction of mirrors, reflection, refraction, optical illusion, all those concepts related to light gets introduced line wise, and accordingly we also try making kaleidoscope, then periscope, mirror at an angle, pinhole camera, telescope. So I think when with this kind of effective methodology, when you try introducing a concept which is so very important from the physics perspective, जो पेरेंट्स को नहीं पता बट आगे जाके करियर डेवलपमेंट के लिए कितना काम आ सकता है, कि बच्चा अगर कैम्ब्रिज बोर्ड में है और सिर्फ मैथ इंग्लिश जो कंपलसरी है और उसके साथ फिजिक्स लिया है, देन अ चाइल्ड कैन गो फॉर अ करियर लाइन ऑफ फिल्म मेकिंग. Simple. So for which he needs to learn physics topics like light, sound, motion. So all those topics, if they are introduced grade wise, eventually, getting promoted like that, possibly, the learning will be as such that nobody needs to question that. A child will understand automatically everything and the rote learning will be eliminated, I guess.
ठीक है. अब बताइए कि साइनोटेक तो कमर्शियली वायबल भी तो होना चाहिए आप लोगों के लिए, क्योंकि आप एक संस्था चलाती हैं, तो फंड्स तो आप ऐसे तो नहीं ले रहे, सो यू हैव टू मेक इट कमर्शियली वायबल ऑल्सो. सो व्हाट एक्टिविटी डू यू डू फॉर दैट? क्या कुछ मार्केटिंग एक्टिविटी आप करती हैं जिसके लिए आप?
So basically, I would like to, highlight that I forgot first that the major challenge for us, not only the thought process for the parents, but possibly most of the parents would compare the fees with the normal conceptual learning or tuition classes. But, they don't realize that 15 or 20%, even if we are higher in fees, then those fees get sufficed with the kind of field trips what we do, the kind of experts whom they meet, and we try doing hands-on activities almost every turn what they are meeting me with. And those hands-on activities, we try preparing a bag of kits, we give it to them at home. And post-COVID, basically, as I first said that the hybrid module was being introduced, where online come offline, we have, so all the children from Ahmedabad or outside, we have now children coming in from different cities of India, but same time zone like Doha, Qatar, everywhere children are with us. And we send them bag of kits where there are around 20 to 25 experiential learning kits, which is something like this. Okay, they may be very, very simple kits, but parents don't need to go and find the simplest possible material. The child will just open a kit and try doing, whatever was expected to do at that point of time with me, even if they are online or offline at the academy. So I think that has changed the perspective of parents, that how convenient it is. And now we have children coming from Ahmedabad also, we have children who are online enrolled, but they can attend offline field trips. So it's like, so this is one marketing, I think, strategy which is helping, that the parents who are working cannot come to drop children at the academy, but they remain online. And whatever field trips what we are doing on weekends, the parents even are free to join, so they can join. Wow. And it's a lovely strategy. And we never, went into traditional marketing strategy like, pamphlets and all that. I think I never liked that, being an educationist. And I think word to mouth is working with us, number one, where children become my ambassadors, parents become my ambassadors, and spread the word to the society. And I think we keep our social media also very live in terms of our Instagram and Facebook page. LinkedIn pages are live. So I think whatever activities we are doing in the classroom, we are trying to upload them, so they are able to see. And I think that could be the best marketing strategy for us.
Wow. So, Megha ji, you started with 7 students, as I read through your website, and almost about 50,000 students you have impacted till now. तो कुछ एक अच्छी सी जर्नी के बारे में बताइए ना, कुछ those crisp moments where हमें भी अच्छा लगे.
I think ये जर्नी बहुत ही पावरफुल रही है. मतलब नेचुरली हार्ड वर्क तो है, पैशन है, बहुत पेशेंस रखा है. एंड इस साल 8th ईयर में पहुंचे हैं. तो आई थिंक 2016 में जब शुरू किया था, एंड आई थिंक सिटी में धमाल मच गई थी। वर्कशॉप से फर्स्ट मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी ऐसी सोची थी कि कुछ भी शुरू करेंगे तो कैसे किसको बताएं कि ऐसा कुछ अच्छा करने जा रहे हैं। So I think we tried declaring lots of workshops in the city, and in all the clubs who you are acquainted with in Ahmedabad, we have done workshops with. May it be any known club or the programs what we have done there. And I think the first workshop what I did was in 2016 with 32 experiments live with a complete explanation of the theory, how that happens in 2 hours in physics, chemistry, and biology.
Wow.
And I think, that 7 children with whom I started my center in 2016, they were all my son and his friends. And I think 26 children got enrolled in the first phase. So slowly and steadily that journey became so beautiful that we have now 200 plus kids in the academy itself. And in this journey of workshops, I think I would say the traction has been amazing. Organically, it has increased. So I think it's a lovely idea that I have finished doing around 800 workshops and 100 plus teachers training programs. And this idea of addressing assemblies, I think that was also one thing which is very impactful, I would say, that I used to go and I still go to the assemblies to speak about what is, ऐसे कहते हैं ना कि सिंपल सा सवाल पूछेंगे कि विज्ञान क्या है, विकसता हुआ ज्ञान। तो ये क्वेश्चंस भी बच्चे नहीं बता पाते थे कि विज्ञान कभी रुकता ही नहीं है किसी के लिए, बस विकसता है। कि जैसे हमने एक हेलो हेलो वाले रोप वाले फोन से शुरू करके अब गूगल असिस्टेंट तक हम पहुंच गए हैं और अब कहाँ पहुंचने वाले हैं वो बच्चे सोच सकते हैं। हाँ, तो आई थिंक असेंबली वाला जो था वो भी एक अच्छा स्ट्रेटेजी था। एंड अभी तक आई थिंक आई एम आई फील very blissful, I think, as an educator, that being an edupreneur now, but recognized as educationist as always, has given me that satisfaction. And I think it was endorsed by lots of awards and recognition. We have been blessed by the media.
I was to ask you about your कि आप कमर्शियली तो हो गए, तो क्या रिकग्निशन में क्या क्या मिला आपको, ये बताइए ना।
Thank you. So I think we have been blessed by the media, and of course the first award itself in 2017 by Gujarat Innovation Society, the journey started. And slowly and steadily we got many awards. Then we came as a runner-up in National Startup Awards 2020. And finally in this year 2023 we received an award by the hands of President. So I think that was something which is
icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake. Absolutely,
so
I would say.
Take us through that journey, that small journey of you receiving the award and
absolutely
the students around.
I would say that I would start that I was not even aware that the president would be coming all the way to Gujarat to felicitate a few ladies.
Achha.
And I think when I received a call, I was told that on 3rd and 4th of October, you are not supposed to go out of Ahmedabad. And incidentally, when I received the call, I was in Baroda, which is never the case. So I was like, oh, I still need to immediately reach back home. And the COVID certification was required. The blood test had to be done so that we could meet up with the president. And of course our Rajyapal, and he also is an amazing speaker, I think. जो उस दिन उन्होंने जिस दिन प्रोग्राम था तो अगले दिन हमें बताया गया कि मैंने बोला अटायर के लिए तो बता दीजिए कौन आ रहा है, तो उन्होंने बोला आपको तो प्रेसिडेंट से अवार्ड मिल रहा है। इट इज लाइक इट इज जस्ट अमेजिंग दैट आई थिंक you feel so blessed that whatever hard work you have put in up till now is getting recognized. I think that recognition gives you drive, to walk through and through. Still, go ahead.
तो मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन आपके लिए ये है कि how do you ensure that your programs are accessible and beneficial for children who are underprivileged?
So I would say that we started in 2021. We started SciKnowTech Education Foundation.
जी.
And under that roof, we try doing a lot of programs for these kids. And I take up a lot of sessions for these kids at grassroots level. So I myself go to, in the same year, actually, I took it up for one chemical company as their CSR initiative. And I tried going to district of Sanand, then finished 14 schools with 45 different sessions. And I think that was very impactful because every session was with hands-on activities. In our year-long program also, we try taking up children who have right to education and who cannot afford this type of education. We try giving those seats to those children. So I think, and my children of VIPNet, SciKnowTech VIPNet Club, which I earlier mentioned, that's a free club that we run on Sundays. I train children, to go to different places, show them experiments. So we try going to different underprivileged areas for toy donation drive, for showing them experiments, for talking to them related to science. I think that is something where not only me, but my children also have started extrapolating all this. So I think that's our small bit what we are trying to do.
Yeah. Now, this is one question, which one of our staff members has suggested us to ask you, which is in an ever-evolving educational landscape, how has SciKnowTech adopted to stay relevant and effective?
I think we not only upgraded ourselves in terms of knowledge, but we try upgrading and updating ourselves technology wise also. So the hybrid module, what we tried uh, putting up, was a boon for us just post COVID. And I think that was a twist in our business, I would say. And there, not only people could see me teaching, the method was very effective. We could, we started sending hands-on activity kits home, and that's how just sitting at home, children could do the same activities with me in sitting at their own places at that point of time. And I think upgrading and updating is something which is so much required in today's time because technology is changing. Lot of edtech startups are coming out with fantastic programs in terms of robotics, hands-on learning to learn something like electricity, and all those. If is suppose very very simple thing like strawberries, there's a company which is Europe based, but with simple straws, just putting it together, how math could be so interesting, and with strawberries you can actually create young engineers. So it's like, try adopting such technologies, such new initiatives which are coming up in the market, understanding them, updating ourselves that way. I think definitely helps because एक बार curriculum तैयार हो गया and relax हो जाओ, घूमो फिरो, अब ये अपने पास तो सब तैयार है, ऐसा I think that attitude never helps. So to answer your question and your team's question, I would say that at any point of time, whatever experience you have, whatever workshop you're going through at that point of time, you should have a feel that आज मैं क्या नया दूं. So I think with that attitude, अगर आप चले तो बहुत आगे निकल सकते हैं. एंड हर टाइम ऐसा करना चाहिए और मैं खुद ऐसी कोशिश कंटिन्यूअसली करती हूँ. तो आई थिंक दैट हेल्प्स मी अ लॉट.
Yeah, I understand. That's a very nice answer that you have given, which clarifies a lot of thought process. हमारे खुद के भी thought processes काफी clarify करता है.
And I think I would like to add one more example that our field trips, okay, they are also so relevant. Suppose if you want to give children an idea about, the expected careers, what they can go for, then first you have to expose them with that. Again, my motto, exposure leads to exploration. So maybe sound engineering is one such field which is emerging right now. So we took them to, say, music production studio, and they could see how music is being made, how the entire production happens. So when they look at it, possibly not all, but at least even if one child gets, that feel, say, if today's time natural disasters are something that because of climate change continuously people are experiencing throughout the world.
जी.
So they must know what you mean by ham radio. So we have, so not only we go to the ham fest, but also to a person who is a ham radio specialist
Wow.
who would show them, how you go on air and talk to people with wireless radio.
I see.
So it's like, such exposures definitely help children think laterally, think parallelly about their careers also, I think.
वेरी नाइस. डॉक्टर साहब, एक और जो पॉइंट मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा है कि विद दिस हाइब्रिड सॉर्ट ऑफ मेथोडोलॉजी अवेलेबल, आई एम श्योर देयर इज वन एस्पेक्ट व्हिच इज कॉल्ड ग्लोबल रीच, एंड देन सेकंड इज आल्सो एक्सचेंज ऑफ स्टूडेंट आइडियाज. तो क्या आप इसके ऊपर वर्क कर रही हैं या करती हैं, तो क्या करती हैं?
दिस इज अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली. हम जब छोटे थे तभी अपने पेन पाल का आइडिया आपने सुना होगा.
जी.
तो हम लोग तभी लेटर राइटिंग स्कूल में करवाते थे कि एक बड़ी है जो दूर कहीं बैठा है, इंडिया में ही तब था. अभी दैट ऑल दोज थिंग्स आर पॉसिबल विथ कंट्रीज, राइट? सो पॉसिबली इंट्रा कंट्रीज exchange of ideas, thoughts, and all that is possible. I am attached to many institutions across India as well as outside, and that's the reason my children definitely are exposed to such a thing where, selected children, but those children who are working with me in the SciKnowTech VIPNet club, possibly, they are exposed to such things like, first, I myself, right now, I am undergoing a exchange program on climate action, where my buddy is from Harvard.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, it's a lovely feeling where at this age I am mentee and she is a mentor.
Okay.
But the feeling is absolutely mutual that we both are learning from each other.
जी.
So I think those initiatives for myself first help me, and then I pass it on to the next generation, I think.
Okay. So we move on to the next question, which is that why is it important to introduce research concepts at an early stage? And how does SciKnowTech facilitate this?
Okay. So at an early stage, see, बच्चा साइंस स्ट्रीम लेगा कि नहीं लेगा वो एक अलग बात है. बट सबसे पहली बात मैं ये कहूंगी कि छोटी सी छोटी चीज हम करते हैं, वो एक साइंटिफिक मेथड ही है, बट हमें रियलाइज नहीं होता. जैसे कि आज हम कहीं जा रहे हैं और स्कूटर बंद हो गया, तो हम सबसे पहले सोचने लगेंगे कि स्कूटर क्यों बंद हुआ. तो हम एक स्मार्ट गेस करेंगे कि क्यों बंद हुआ. पेट्रोल मैंने डलवाया था, प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अभी कहीं जाके वहां पे प्लेस स्टेशन पे जाके आया है तो स्कूटर मेरा ठीक है और भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो सकता. तो अचानक ऐसा क्या हो गया कि मेरा स्कूटर बंद हो गया. तो साइंटिफिकली हम अगर मेथोडोलॉजी सामने रखें तो वी विल ट्राई टू लुक फॉर अ मेथोडोलॉजी. सो सिंपली आई वुड कॉल माई हस्बैंड और कॉल अ मैकेनिक डायरेक्टली टू से दैट मेरा स्कूटर क्यों बंद हो गया. वो आया एंड उसने मेरा स्कूटर कहा कि ओके क्लच वायर निकल गया था मैडम, ठीक कर दिया, स्कूटर बंद हो गया. तो मेरा स्मार्ट गैस ठीक हो गया. दैट इज हाइपोथेसिस व्हाट वी कॉल. सो अगर मेरा हाइपोथेसिस ठीक है कि ओके पेट्रोल की वजह से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कुछ और प्रॉब्लम था, तो मेरा हाइपोथेसिस सही हो गया. सो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, रिसर्च तो हम करते ही रहते हैं, बट हमें रियलाइज नहीं होता कि ये साइंटिफिक मेथड हम यूज कर रहे हैं. तो आपका बच्चा कोई भी लाइन लेने वाला हो, अच्छे सिटीजन होने के लिए या क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग करना बहुत जरूरी होता है. एंड उसके लिए अगर बचपन से अच्छा ऑब्जर्वेशनल एबिलिटीज या अच्छा रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी कल्टिवेट किया है, तो दैट विल डेफिनेटली हेल्प द चाइल्ड. नाउ सपोज I would really like to give you one beautiful example that for a 5th grader, I gave him, he didn't want to do anything which was related to his curriculum because everything is EVS. Okay, and he was very keen that I'm ready to work hard. I want to do a research project. So at such young age, I thought that, okay, let him do a research project and it would be very nice. So I tried giving him a project that, okay, just make a line that how much sugar is in my drink. Okay, and with that thought, I said that, okay, let's try exploring at least 15 drink what you're drinking every day. Okay, so it may include, so he started making a list कि वो क्या क्या पीता है, and वो सब कुछ right from chocolate Oreo milkshake to Sprint, and I don't want to name all the brands, But he came to and then what we tried doing for such small level, we tried making up a list. Then at every list, we tried seeing it from their labels that, okay, how much sugar was there, and finally put it up in the form of a chart, and then measuring all those sugars in the small bags, which will keep on increasing from no sugar of an empty bag in the water to the highest amount of 250 grams of sugar in one bottle of a cola. So I think that is it's an eye opener, right, for a child, not only for a child, for all the viewers who are in the SciKnow watching it and the child presenting that project. So I think research is something, sir, which definitely helps with such a small thing. And there are lots of research projects I try giving children. I think one more example I could give was one girl, we were in 7th standard, they have heat. So her mom is working, and we try exploring one thing, that a bag of milk bag what we get every day, she would be putting it in the freezer because she doesn't have time in the morning. So we took 3 situations where you immediately, the fresh bags you try heating up, and how much time does it take if you use the same vessel. Then a bag which is put up in the freezer and directly being heated up, then how much time does it take. And finally, you just take out those bags which are frozen, keep it out only for 1 or 2 hours, come out in your break time at 12:30 and try heating it up, and how much time it does take. So it is like 4 minutes, 6.5 minutes and 9 minutes. So possibly saving of those minutes is saving energy. So energy efficiency, how you obtain, you try teaching the child with heat. So I think it is something like research is something which is so wonderful. We don't realize it, but we should try inculcating those habits right from the beginning.
वेरी नाइस। इतना सारा आप कह रही हैं, आई एम श्योर आपका कोई विजन तो होगा साइन ऑफ टेक के लिए। आप कहाँ ले जाना चाहती हैं इसको? इतना एक्साइटिंग है। पिछले पौने घंटे से मैं सुन रहा हूँ, ऑलमोस्ट 45 मिनट्स हैव पास्ड, और मेरी ये फीलिंग है इट इज जस्ट 5 मिनट्स दैट आई हैव बीन लिसनिंग टू यू।
Thank you so much. I think it's my pleasure.
Where is your vision going to take you, or take this institute to?
Right. So I think there are 4 ways I would put up. Teaching the teacher, something like, you replicate the program 4-fold, maybe more. So I think if you want to increase the effectivity of the same, it should be 10-fold. And so the teacher's training is one thing which is the key thing what I look at. Then second is making videos to, maybe on a subscription module or something where nicely it has been designed, scripted in such a way that grade wise the preparing videos. Hybrid module is one such thing you could think about. And math module, which I tried developing parallelly, but still, it requires, in terms of success of number of children, I think math requires little more efforts. So I think we are focusing more now, even on math, where it's not about anything like a Vedic math or nothing like a rote learning. So ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, everything is hands on, and अच्छे से hands on activities से ही math कराते हैं. तो I think ये 3 चीजें I would like to say that we are focusing now as a part of vision.
Okay. चलिए बताइए कि इनमें एजुकेटर्स एंड एंटरप्रेन्योर्स आपके इस मिशन में कैसे इन्वॉल्व हो सकते हैं?
I think educators and entrepreneurs have changed today's face of Indian education system, I would say.
कैसे?
Those startups, there are a lot of edtech startups. And as I rightly said, there are toy makers and those startups basically who are focusing on how to enhance education. Say, I know a startup who is only into theater, okay, and they are trying to make me understand that how I could teach few topics like covalent and ionic bonding by just dancing, being together, and having it in terms of singing. So introducing art is something like in the first question itself, you asked me that question, that how STEM turns into STEAM. So I think entrepreneurs have a lot of scope in the education sector, I would say, that in every aspect, right from the handwriting to learning different languages to doing hands-on activities, फिजिक्स बेस्ड और केमिस्ट्री बेस्ड और बायोलॉजी बेस्ड। साइंस तो क्या है, इतना कुछ है उसमें सीखना। मतलब माइक्रोबायोलॉजी ले लो आप, हर एक चीज में किस एस्पेक्ट में आप इनोवेशन कर सकते हो। सो आई थिंक एड्यूप्रेन्योर्स के लिए तो इतना स्कोप मैं देख रही हूँ फील्ड में कि आई थिंक दे जस्ट हैव टू लुक एट द गैप, दैट वेयर इज द गैप, वी जस्ट हैव टू फिल अप दैट गैप and give the best of education to our kids, I think.
चलिए, on a personal note, how has your experience as an educator and a founder shaped your views on the education system and its future?
Education, our traditional education system is basically the curriculum and everything is wonderful. But unfortunately, it is so much based on rote learning. But now scenario is definitely changing. Probably lot of stress is being put up on skill based practical hands on learning, enhancing critical thinking, and with as I rightly said, with national education policy in place now, it is being compulsory for the institutions to practice this, which will try changing this method. It is still few more years, where we can see that institutions are also trying to adopt this new system, which is really tough because a lot of hard work needs to be put up in that. And I think I would also say that people people definitely wish to have a more inclusive type of child centered education which needs to be given. And education system, definitely the new policies are focusing mainly on that. So with my experience, I definitely feel that India as a visionary, just we were looking at a business person giving a speech on the convocation of my son's university. Our economy is, from the billion is going to change to trillion in 2045. So I think education sector especially will contribute a lot, because this generation is, when you look at 2030, 2035, this generation what we are catering to right now are going to be the face of that time. So I think I look at it that way very positively, and let's keep fingers crossed that lot of startups like how I started come up, and in different sectors in education itself, like different subjects and toys and whatnot, where the experience, the best of experience could be given to the children, I think.
So you feel that experiential learning has got a very bright future.
Absolutely. Only that has a future.
So only that remains the future.
Absolutely. Because see, practical, see, we are there, there's no point creating robots, right? There is a point creating the robot which could work. So I think just mere creating robot doesn't help. So I think exposing kids and exposing people to the right thing will help in future, I guess.
And I think what you have all along said is that, we should be basically helping the kids to understand as to what their love is. And the easiest way to understand that is giving them experiential learning.
Absolutely.
ठीक है मैम, चलिए, on concluding remarks, we are very close to the end of this podcast, but दो questions और रह जाते हैं. तो पहला question ये कि for parents listening, how can they support and enhance their children's learning experience in line with SciKnowTech's philosophy?
Okay, so as I first started, our motto is exposure leads to exploration and exploration to innovation. So my dear parents, first of all, accept the child as he or she is. Try identifying what they like or what they love doing, not necessarily what you like and what you love doing. So I think every individual is different. You might have experienced that if you have twins, those two children being born together are also really two different individuals. So how can they be similar to you? Spend maximum time with them so that they become at least like you. And because people do not have time these days, I think to parents, I would say that give them ample of time. What you do, children are always your reflection. So if you wish them to read, you have to read. And if you wish them to do something good, you have to do good. So I think the first thing I would like to tell parents is expose them to whatever comes to your city. May it be a concert or programs like Abhivyakti, which is art installations, theater, music, whatever comes to your city, may it be a flower show, anything where when a child visits that, trust me, he or she may not be so much interested also. But by chance, if the child, is exposed and if he or she likes it, then only they will try on their own to explore something out of it. And if they try hands-on on their own to explore, then only they will tend towards innovation. So I think YouTubing does not help that way, because when you, especially when, I would say that in the school, when the projects are given, especially you will relate it with me immediately, because what the child does is that what is on right now, say ground water table पे काम करना, चलो वो कर लेते हैं, सबसे 4-5 प्रोजेक्ट देख लिए चैनल पे, एंड सबसे अच्छा किसने किया है, ये सब कुछ वायबल है, अपने पास है, कर लो. बट एंड पेरेंट्स बहुत ही प्राउडली ये प्रोजेक्ट्स वापस नेबर्स को दिखाएंगे कि ये मेरे बच्चे ने किया है, बट वो उसकी इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है, वो उसने खुद नहीं किया है, ये किसी और का रिप्लिकेट किया हुआ है. तो बच्चा गेम खेलने की जगह गेम अपने आप खुद बना सके, ऐसी कैपेसिटी अगर देखना चाहते हैं तो अच्छी चीजों में एक्सपोज कीजिए, एंड एक्सपोज करेंगे तो बच्चा जरूर एक्सप्लोर करेगा. अभी आगे बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है कि इनोवेट भी करेगा.
चलिए लास्ट क्वेश्चन, जो कि फ्रॉम व्यू पॉइंट ऑफ आवर ऑडियंस बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है और उनको बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. दैट इज वी कॉल इट स्कूप. स्कूप इज सक्सेस कोड ऑफ एन ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन. और वो ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन कहीं ना कहीं दिमाग में सोचता है कि मुझे अब ऑर्डिनरी नहीं रहना है, मुझे हीरो बनना है. तो वो अपना एक सक्सेस कोड बना लेता है. तो डॉक्टर मेघा भट्ट का सक्सेस कोड क्या है?
आई थिंक वो अपने मन में सोचता भी नहीं है कि मुझे हीरो बनना है, वो बन जाता है. एंड उसके लिए मेरा स्कूप होगा, शायद नहीं, पक्का मेरा स्कूप होगा कि मैंने हमेशा बिलीव किया है कि मैं जब छोटी थी तब माय फाधर यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज टेल मी कि पुरुषार्थ वगर परमार्थ નથી. એટલે કે આપણે એવું કહીએ कि जो हार्डवर्क करता है वो ही परमार्थ को पाता है ना. तो हार्डवर्क इज समथिंग विच विल डेफिनेटली हेल्प. Obviously, passion towards doing whatever you are doing. So you should love what you're doing. Passionately do it, and with lot of patience. And that patience definitely with addition of hard work definitely leads to success. So my dear people, I think I would say 3 things: passion, patience, and hard work.
Okay, fine. So nice of you. Thanks a lot. Ab I'll give you 1 minute. You can talk to your own students, their parents. आप जो बोलना चाहती हैं 1 मिनट आप खुल के बोल लीजिए उनसे.
Zarur. Thank you. So people, those who are listening to me, first I would start with my SciKnowTech parents, that thank you for trusting me. And definitely, as I always say, that any method always works if it is continued for 18 months. For any method, may it be SciKnowTech or anything else, whatever activities you are pursuing, it has to be pursued for 18 months at least. So utna time dene ke liye thank you very much. Those who are new to SciKnowTech, so it specifies as science, knowledge and technology put together. So my dear friends, we are offering a graded program from grade 2 to 10 in the academy based at Satellite Road in Ahmedabad. We have the Facebook and Instagram page with the same name, SciKnowTech. You can get back to us anytime. Please visit our center. We have creative laboratories where children can actually explore physics, chemistry, biology and general science in short, and they would also see what to appreciate in the nature in the academy also. So get them there to explore and know us more about what we are passionately trying to do and passionately trying to disrupt in the market. Thank you.